Visiting Japan is great because we have yummy foods like sushi and great cultures like anime and hentai. You'll probably have a great time, but living in Japan is a whole nother story. There's a lot of bad things that you will notice only when you live in Japan. Today I will share 5 things that will convince you to never wanting to live in Japan. For example, we eat a thing called natto, which are basically old beans that were left outside. Many people like it because of its distinct taste and stickiness. We also eat octopus and squids alive. Just watch this video. And for those who care about the environment, we kind of eat whales and horses now and then, and dogs and cats. Wait, that's actually not us. Unfortunately, this is not the end of the list. We also eat fish eyeballs, grasshoppers, and shirako, which is basically sexual organs of a fish. And if we see a foreigner in Japan, we will force you to eat these kind of foods. So if you can't handle that, you should never live in Japan. There are many unspoken rules in Japan. The worst thing is, it's very difficult for foreigners to find out these rules. For example, many foreigners don't know how to behave in a train. In a train, you should keep quiet and mind your own business. You must never call people in a train or talk loudly under any circumstance. This is especially true when the train is congested. And by congested, I mean the real congested, like this. There are so many more rules in Japan, such as no eating in public spaces, taking your bag off when you're on the train, and eating raw fish every day. We, Japanese, are not the friendliest, as you'd probably know. If we see a foreigner in Japan, we don't see a potential friend, but we see an interesting thing. It's very rare to see blonde hair or white and black skin in Japan. So if you are a foreigner in Japan, prepare to be stared at everywhere. Additionally, since you are in Japan, you might want to learn some Japanese. However, when we see a foreigner in Japan, we will speak to you in English, regardless of whether you speak Japanese or not.
So kind of going along with that is, of course, we want to learn Japanese. Sometimes when you talk to people, they like just talk in English. And I'm like, I kind of want you to speak in Japanese.
Or actually, no. Another pet peeve I have is when people say "Nihongo jozu" after I said like 3 words. Yeah. I'm like, you don't actually mean that. Like, it's a lie in my face. That's annoying.
Okay. So like as soon as they see you, they talk to English. They talk in English.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Or sometimes they'll even ask. So like, "Nihongo dekimasu ka?" And I'm like, "Hi." Like, okay. So basically, and they start talking in English. Like, what do you ask?
So even if you are in Japan, your Japanese won't improve at all. You've probably heard about the culture of senpai, and it probably looks like this.
Senpai, 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 senpai.
Unfortunately, this never happens. In Japan, if someone is older than you, even by a year, you are expected to use a special language called keigo. Some people will get really mad at you if you fail to do this. Additionally, you are expected to follow what your senpai says. In some cases, they can tell you some pretty crazy things. For example, the toxic culture of senpai is especially prevalent in high school baseball teams, where the juniors are forced to listen to what their senior says. In my high school, the relationship between seniors and juniors were especially toxic. For example, juniors were forced to bow whenever they saw a senior in school. Additionally, juniors had to get to the training ground an hour earlier to get all the equipments ready so that the senpai or the seniors could start practice right away. Furthermore, seniors had the right to make the juniors run around if they didn't follow their orders. Tokyo is very nice. There's English signs everywhere. Most people speak pretty good English, so you should be able to live by without speaking Japanese. However, if you're in a place other than Tokyo, people would not speak English, so you'd be screwed. They'll try and help you, but they'd be no help. Furthermore, people outside of Tokyo tend to be more stereotypical compared to people in Tokyo. For example, tattoos in Japan were viewed very negatively, since it was a sign of belonging to a yakuza, which is basically like a Japanese mafia. This idea has faded away due to the rising interest in tattoos, However, this idea that tattoos is bad still exists in places outside of Tokyo. If you have a tattoo, you'll be rejected from jobs and you won't be able to enter hot springs.